What's up, Huddle Buddies? This is Matthew and Ty, and we're going to do a little something this season that is a little surprise. We've kept it on the down low, but this is the Huddle House. This is where the two of us are going to break down a little bit of fantasy, talk about the league, and hopefully have some fun doing it. So, Ty, how you doing, man?
Doing great, doing great. This has been an idea of ours for a long time. Glad we could finally make it happen. I don't see a better time to do it in this exciting season where we're starting dynasty. And we kind of want this to be a rumor mill, to be a common ground for people to come on and talk. I think we're going to try and put one out every week for your listening pleasure, just to add another element to the league because I think that could just help elevate involvement. So that's where we're at with it. We're just trying to have fun.
For sure. And let's talk about that involvement is really what makes this league so fun is that everyone's going to be pretty locked in, especially for dynasty this year. No one wants to be the 14th place and have to buy that engravement and have to be the laughing stock of the league. I mean, I've been in the bottom half almost every year and I know how unfun that is. So, the stakes are high and we want to have people on the show to just kind of share some of their ideas. Obviously, we're not going to get any spoilers or blow anybody's game plan, but just kind of have some guys on from the league and be like, hey, here's why I made this trade, or here's why I made this waiver pickup. Here's what I'm thinking for my team. Like, I think it's going to be pretty fun just to add that element to the league because we're going to try pretty hard. I mean, this is do or die. We want that trophy. So, you know, no laying up. We're going to go for it.
Yeah, and that's totally true. I think it can be a great way to provide some more analysis for everything we're going to be doing. And I also think this is a good way for us to feather a little Sam Roberts in here. And I know that his voice is one that everybody enjoys. So hopefully he can be involved in this somehow. But, we're recording this Wednesday night. We're essentially, 48 hours less than away from the big draft. So I guess let's just, this could be a draft preview. It's just an initial little hello, but this is one of the biggest drafts we've ever had in this league and probably will have for a while. So just on the outset, what are your impressions? How are you feeling? This is so
It's it's
very
it,
close to
it's
it.
a it's a tough feeling because you're very excited. You're like, let's do this. I'm ready. But you also have no idea how the draft board's going to fall. Like first round, I think most of the guys are probably pretty confident, I would say. I mean, I don't know about everybody, but a lot of the guys I've heard from, are pretty confident they know what they're doing in the first round, unless some crazy curveball gets thrown in. I know me and you, we have picks 2 and 3. So it's pretty obvious like what the board's going to look like early on. So pretty locked in, confident. All I got to do is click a button for that. But second, third, fourth rounds, like those are the do or die rounds, and we don't really know what the board's going to look like. So it's really tough to get an idea of things. So you just have to put rankings together, assess team needs, and just try to take value. But there's definitely a lot of anxiety of like, oh, what if I make the wrong pick? Because it's not like you just are stuck with them for 1 year. Like if you make a horrible pick, unless you're able to unload them, you're stuck with that guy for a pretty good while. So it makes a difference. So I'm excited, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I think I feel a lot of the same way. I'm eager. I'm anxious. I'm kind of uneasy. I we decided a minute 30 for our times. That's what I voted for, just because I think it's less time for me to be indecisive and stare there, because I will run a clock down to the last second, and a lot of times that does mean
Oh, I know that, Ty.
a
I know
shorter.
you ran them down in the mocks. And I'm like, Ty, this isn't real, man. Just pick.
That's what I'm saying. So knowing we got a cap on there that's a little less, I think is something that will be advantageous to me. Um, yeah, I think. Do you have? This could be fun. A bold assumption for the draft. Like, is somebody going to go higher than you think, or a certain amount of players off the board, or where's the first position, like the first tight end go? Just a bold prediction ahead of the draft.
I think tight end slides. I could be wrong. I just think guys are going to look at like the top tight ends and be like, they're all getting up there in age. They're not super old, but they're older. And they're like, I'd rather take a young stud running back that might not have uh, as much proof of being good as someone like Travis Kelsey, but is also younger and more promising. And I get that guy for 7, 8, 9 years. Like I think the first tight end could go late second, maybe early third. Like I think that's a position that slides. We'll see. Someone might throw a wrench in that and be like, boom, Travis Kelsey first round. But I don't suspect it. I think we'll get some really good tight end options in the third round. What about you, man?
I feel like those first three tight ends, Kelsey, Kittle, Waller, whatever order you have them in, I feel like they're all gone by mid third round, and I think two of them are gone by second round. Honestly,
By second round, you think two of them go in first round, or are you saying you think they'll be gone by the end of the second round?
I think they're going to be gone by the end of the second. I don't know. I think that I'm so accustomed to all these mocks on Sleeper, but it's all with the robots, and I don't know exactly how another human will value the same thing as much as the computer. So I could see somebody pulling a tight end, and I don't think I'd blame them for it because that's a premium position if you can lock it down with one of those top guys. Here's another one, quarterback talk, because that's another big decision in the dynasty league.
It's a
You're
huge decision of where to take a
quarterback
quarterback
for a long time.
because there's a lot of good ones, but there's also ones that are clearly better, and it's just like, you could take in the fourth round, you could take a flyer, like someone guy that maybe he's only played one season at wide receiver or something like that, is young, showed flashes, but isn't very proven. Or you could go for like Justin Herbert or Kyler Murray or something like that. So it's like, so there's definitely going to be that temptation to go quarterback early because some of these guys, we know how good they are, whereas a lot of these receivers and running backs don't have as much of that experience under their belt. And so we'll see. I think another bold prediction, I think two, maybe three quarterbacks go by before the end of the second round.
Mm.
I think that's very possible.
I mean, this is a league where your quarterback is going to be with you for a long time. So, it's tethering yourself to one of those young studs. It isn't all out of the question. I think what I'm most interested in to see in our draft tonight is how the running back injuries play out, because you have a couple of these young guys who, second year guys, and ETN's a rookie, but Akers, Dobbins lost their second season, and all we're going to be, fringe first, second round guys. That's going to create a big ripple in the pond because those guys are probably still going to get drafted. How far do
Oh,
they
there's
fall?
no probably about it, dude. There's 20 rounds. You don't think they're going to get taken
Well,
at some point?
yeah, I guess they're definitely going to get drafted. I guess it's just relative to where they were getting drafted. Where will they fall? But I think that, so there's that ripple. But then there's
Mhm.
also, where are you going to draft the backups who are now placed in a premium role, knowing
Yeah,
they're going to get really good work this year,
they're
but
1 year
it's a
rentals.
dynasty league, right? I mean, if it's a redraft, you're all over them. But if it's a dynasty, it's like they're not going to have that same role next year. How much can you invest in that? How much should you even care about that relative to, how the running back pool is? It kind of tapers off quickly. So, I mean, I think it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. I'm still 48 hours away. I don't even know how I feel all about it yet. I don't think I will until it's time to pull the trigger. So, I mean,
It's all gut, man. I mean, you can prepare as much as you want, but at the end of the day, as soon as you're on the clock and you see the board, you just have to trust your instinct. I mean,
what
I've made rankings upon rankings, but at the end of the day, I probably won't even look at them in the moment because I'll just be like, this is the guy that I'm feeling in this moment. I got to trust it, because, sometimes my gut lets me down, but more often than not, it works out. So just got to trust the gut.
yeah, I hear what you're saying. I remember feeling so stressed out about our draft last year in a smaller league in a redraft, and now it seems so low stakes compared to the stuff that I've been thinking about this time around with it. Two extra teams, dynasty implications. It's like, what was I worried about then?
Mhm.
So,
It's a different animal, man. Like I'm excited for it, but there is definitely that fear that like you mess up the draft, some guys don't pan out, and you're just left scrambling. Like I mean, yeah, you can get a really high pick in the next year's rookie draft, but we were talking about this a little earlier. Like that guy might not hit their prime, even that rookie, even if they're good, they might not hit their prime for several seasons. So you might get instant contribution from them, but are you going to get instant Devontae Adams or or Derrick Henry level production? Like I doubt that. So, you might take several years to get that rebuild to actually be successful. So you really need to nail this draft. So I don't think we're alone in this assessment. I think all 14 guys are probably feeling a little bit of the nerves to not mess this up.
yeah, time will tell. It's coming soon. I'm curious though. I want to pivot for a second because a few weeks ago in the chat we talked about power rankings, pre-draft or pre-lottery power rankings. And
Yeah.
did you come up last on one of those?
Yeah. Yeah. I think we know
I
who
want to
put
give
me
you
last.
I want to give you your platform to speak your mind on that matter in this public forum here.
There's nothing to say, man. Like, I mean, I will say this. I mean, I don't think in over a decade that I've ever played fantasy sports, basketball or football, I don't think I've ever finished last in a league in my entire life. Now, have I won many? No, I've won like maybe one or two, but like I'm like a classic middleman. Like that's gonna change this year. I'm gonna be number one. But I'm just saying, in the past, I'm always like a middleman. So someone throws me in the middle, like I think Lucas put me in the middle. I'm like, all right, I can live with that. It's fair. Like I get why they think that. But putting Matthew Barnes in last place, I mean, it's something only Jake Clark would do, but it's
So
fine.
wait, to go back to one thing, so you say you're more often not middle of the pack finisher.
Mhm. For the
So
most part.
the Louisville Cardinals special.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm a Louisville fan, I have to finish middle of the freaking pack. And I mean, surprisingly, I haven't had any scandals around my fantasy team yet.
That
I haven't.
that was my next question. Is are we going to get anything interesting coming up? Chris Mack. What was the dude's name? The assistant that he was in
No,
cahoots with?
Gaudio. I mean, this is off topic. We're talking about fantasy football.
I,
Now, I mean, maybe they'll drop a scandal where I'm, sending mean messages to my players or something like that, and that gets leaked, and they find out I'm a scandalous owner. I mean, I'm a Louisville fan, so I mean, I
um,
think that's par for the course.
I'm keeping an eye out on your Venmo transactions. I don't want to see a Katina Powell in there or anything like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna Venmo my players some extra cash to perform well. Get a little bribe in there to have their best weeks whenever I play my rivals.
Yeah, well, man. I mean, the season's almost here. I can't wait for it. I'm antsy thinking about that Thursday night kickoff with the Bucks and the Cowboys. It should be a good year, and I
That's
think
gonna be a fun game. Now, I actually want to also throw in something, and that mock or that power ranking that I was last in, you were first.
I was
And
first.
that's normally a confidence booster, but you got to think the source material, who put that. Do you feel any negative like juju or some like bad luck surrounding your team now? I mean, that could have been a bad omen. Are you worried?
Uh, I'm not super worried. No, I've been talking to the guys. We stay out of the media before these things start. They all are clear headed and I say guys. I guess I don't have my guys yet, but that is one thing that I vet as I'm going to draft them. I want to make sure their psyche's clear and that they're going to be team first and distraction free. So I don't expect that to be a problem with us. We usually have high expectations and um, think that we're proving we can live up to those. So I don't blame them after the year we had last year. We gave it a dang good run. If we could have made it to that championship, it'd have been ours. It just was a tough semifinal game for us. Everybody has a rough patch, but
If you had made it to that championship, you were winning 100% because Alvin Kamara for you in the last week dropped like 60 fantasy points.
yeah, you're telling me I've thought about it every day since.
Yeah, and I mean, it is what it is, man. You put up a really good run. Your team was pretty stacked. I remember playing you, and you had like your best week of the season against me. I think every guy on your team had like 20 plus, and I was like, this is bad. It was like you scored like 180,
I think that was before the Lamar Jackson trade too. I think that was I don't
Yeah.
know those guys.
I mean, your whole team went crazy. Yeah, because you still had Adam Thielen. It was like Adam Thielen went off, DJ Chark went off, Alvin Kamara went off.
That was the one.
You had Chris Carson too, didn't you?
Yeah, I had Chris
He had
Carson.
like 2 touchdowns that game. I mean, your whole team just went nuts, and I was like, I almost got hundoed. It was bad. But my takeaway from last season, it might not have been the best finish, but I righted the ship. It was too little, too late, but I sort of made something out of nothing. I was given not given. I drafted a pretty bad team in retrospect, and I turned it into something at least somewhat respectable by the end. So hopefully this year I just nail it in the draft and I don't have to worry about that. But I was happy with the way I rallied.
I think what we saw last year with you was you invested in young players and they didn't really hit their stride until later in the season, which happens often. But like
Mhm.
Gibson and then Jefferson, I know you drafted last year. So I mean, if that was a dynasty league, well,
Oh yeah.
you probably wouldn't have gotten both those guys if it was
I
that.
mean, we did so many mocks last year in the redraft, and you heard how much I raved about Justin Jefferson. Like, I'm not saying I'm a hot take machine or that I'm always right. Like, heck no. But as far as that one, like that was a winning bet right there. I was like, I took him in a lot of mocks before the draft, and I was like, I want Justin Jefferson. And then the first like 3 weeks, he did like nothing, and I was like, well, we'll see. But I just held on to him. I was confident that he was going to get a role, sooner than later, and then he just ended up being so great for me. I was very happy with that pick. I mean, who wouldn't be? I got him in like the ninth round, so
Yeah.
that one worked out.
I think one of the things that's been really cool about this preseason in particular, and I feel like we probably missed out on it last year because there really wasn't many preseason games. But this time around was the news cycle and how it kept changing, whether it was through players getting cut like Cam Newton and now Mac Jones is a starter, and what implications does that have for New England's roster, or the unfortunate injuries that happened. It was constant storylines going on that
Mhm.
really kept you involved and made fantasy relevant. And we didn't really have that last year. So I think that I'd forgotten how fast things can change before this.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I think Sleeper has been such a good app as well for breaking the news. Like I get notifications all the time of like so and so was cut today, this guy was cut. And most of the time they're not that relevant, but sometimes you'll see a deal that like even if it's not like a major player still matters. Like just 2 days ago we saw Brashad Perriman just got like is getting paid by the Lions to like
Yeah, not
not
for
be
long.
on the roster, and it's
We have
like
no wide
I mean
receivers really anyway. So yeah.
I don't think it really makes that big of a difference because who the heck wants a Lions wide receiver? But it's still kind of relevant because I mean he was going, last couple rounds for the most part and a lot of mocks and things. And now you kind of look at a little shift like TJ Hawkinson gets a little bump, other guys get bumps. Like it's not a major deal, but those are things that like you still want to have in the back of your mind in those late rounds so that you make smart picks. And I was getting a lot of news like that every hour like for the past couple of days is like so and so moved up on the rotation or this guy gets cut. So I mean, it's been a constant cycle to try to keep up with and remember. And I think that'll make a difference on Friday.
Well, we're planning on putting this out there Friday morning, so hopefully everybody gets a chance to tune in before the draft and give us some feedback on this. But like I said, we want to keep it something fun, something that's weekly. We'll probably do post draft power rankings or have somebody on to give theirs or share some perspective with us. Maybe we'll even rope Sam in to give his power rankings based on our rosters because he'll be kind
We
of
will definitely get Salmon. We can't not get Salmon. He's the like how the Seahawks have like what they call their 12th man. Sam is like the 15th man for the Huddle Buddies. Like
yeah.
if we had a 15th roster spot, it'd be Sam. Unfortunately, he couldn't be in the league, but he's an honorary member. We have to include him because I think he cares just about almost as much about it as we do from the outside looking in. So he'll be on the show at some point. But how about this? The first person on Friday when we drop this, the first person that reaches out to us about wanting to be on is the person that gets it. First come, first serve for first guest.
Yeah, that sounds good to me too. So
Who has the fastest trigger finger? And I think everyone wants to be on here with us, man. I mean, we're gonna have some good times, and hopefully add an element to this league that keeps it sustainable. And I mean, one thing that keeps it real sustainable is we got a heck of a trophy. Shout out to our awesome commissioner for really delivering there. I mean, I want that thing so bad that he did a good job picking it out. So that kind of keeps people motivated. But hopefully this type of stuff just keeps the league healthy and gives it longevity because I mean, I'm expecting to have a blast with it for years to come.
right on, same with me. Well, I think we can wrap this one up and call it our first episode of
Yeah, episode number 1, little preview.
the Huddle House. That's what we're going
Huddle
with.
House. Huddle House. If anyone has a better name, we'll workshop it. But I think we like this.
Huddle House. Come on in and get a little bite to eat, chat with us. We'll talk fantasy.
Yeah,
Easy enough.
sounds good, man.
Also, happy birthday, Matthew. Today is the big 23rd. So I guess
That won't be relevant on Friday when this
if
drops.
they didn't wish you happy birthday, they can at least say happy belated or something like that.
Yeah, it's better than nothing. Most of the guys already did so, but they can say it again. I think I deserve 2 happy birthdays.
Sounds good.
I appreciate it though.
All right. Well, everybody, I guess best of luck with the draft tonight. Other than James and you, actually, Matt, because you all are sound sandwiched between you all. So I hope you'll
Yeah,
have.
I would say the same about you and Traigner. And I mean James, I guess, because even though he's not sandwiching me, he's not too far off. So I kind of hope you guys let some guys slide into my lap. But Marcus, Jeremy, the guys on the other end, they can all have a good draft. I'm cool with it.
Yeah, I don't know though. Hoping James doesn't have a good draft. That's like going to bed and
You're betting on LeBron not making the playoffs, I mean,
going to bed and hoping the sun's not going to rise tomorrow. It's not usually a safe bet. So I'm
oh,
sure.
because he's about 350 mocks in, and we're expecting James's roster at the end of the year to probably have about 42 trades and about 75 acquisitions. So it won't look remotely the same, but
Man does his research. He won't sit there. He
I
won't.
respect the grind. Sometimes I feel like I'm doing a lot for fantasy, and then I see what he's doing, and I'm like, man, I'm a novice. So I'm
Well,
just I'm trying to keep up with the work ethic this year.
season's here to teach us, and we'll learn a thing or two along the way. But good first episode, and we'll be back again next week after the draft. Best of luck, everybody.
Yep. Best of luck. It's gonna be fun.